Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Howdy there. Welcome to Hillbilly News Network. We're live, and we have a reporter on the scene of the week-long feud between Tommy McCoy and his neighbors across the street, the Blower Hatfields. Yes, we have what's the latest news there from Maltby there, Tommy?
Well, and for those of you who follow the saga closely, and I know many of you do, last week's show was rudely interrupted by darn near 2 hours of leaf blower activity, but I want to thank you all. I've never seen an audience reaction like this. I don't know if it was the telegrams. It might have been the social media posts.
Yeah.
Maybe even the letters to the editor.
I know.
But he sold it.
He's selling his house. Honestly.
No, he's not selling. I thought the people might think he's selling his leaf blower. No, he's selling the house.
He's selling the house.
They had a mover show up yesterday with a big truck. I mean, you guys put so much pressure. I'm feeling kind of guilty.
It's already gone?
Really? I don't know. I haven't seen him. All I've seen in the neighborhood recently is a bear. So I don't know, but they had a seriously,
really?
In all seriousness.
No, wait. Now, you think I was kidding about him being a hillbilly? He's got a real bar. They got a bar there, too.
And since I got home at the shockingly late hour of like 10:15 for me last night, the bear was walking down the street like, hey, what are you doing?
Tommy Crockett.
Home. Anyway,
him a bear
thank you all.
when he was only 3.
You're all the great. Ooh, I have to give Arya something larger to go after that bear with. Thank you for all the support. And yes, apparently it paid off. The pressure
literally
was just too much.
He's moving.
So I don't know what y'all did.
Nobody even knows where the heck you live, but maybe they just figured it out. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Don McDonald. This is where we talk about almost anything other than leaf blowers. Money, certainly. Your money, absolutely. The things you do with it, 100% positively. But if you have a specific question or a Pacific question, give us a call at 855-935-8255 here on the Hillbilly News Network, 855-935-TALK, T-A-W-K. Oh, no, T-A-L-K.
And many of you apparently think you found a new place to invest to make
really
fast
now?
money. You know, we had the meme stocks, right, of course. Mm-hmm. We had Bitcoin et al., which we've talked about ad nauseum. But now, how about over-the-counter stocks? Because those are so well-regulated, so much information out there, and apparently so much interest.
There is over-the-counter, and then there is over-the-counter.
Yeah, okay. Well, this involves the OTC markets group. So I think that pretty much is a lot of the penny stocks, a lot of the foreign ADRs, et cetera. But $548 billion is traded on those exchanges so far this year, and most of it, guess what, is in, that's right, digital currencies. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the number one trade this year. And by the way, this is fascinating to me, Don. You read the actual numbers, because there's all kinds of people they quote in here like, speaking of hillbilly, I'm getting real rich down here on the farm, Don. I can put a lot of money down and wait for a long time to make money in the blue chips, but on this stuff,
you hit a frequency with your voice. You hit a frequency with your voice that actually set up some strange microphone resonance.
Well, here's the actual numbers.
Wait. I think there's a earthquake out in the Pacific from that noise.
That shook something loose. Here are the actual numbers. From July 2011 to October 2020, I think that's pretty close to 10 years. The average annualized return of OTC shares of U.S. companies, a loss of 44%.
Whoa.
10 years. I mean, does that sound like a place to be putting your money?
Wow.
Doesn't to me. And then on top of that, there's new restrictions that the SEC has put in place in terms of of being able to trade these companies, which may be good news, maybe bad news. Jason Zweig kind of wrote about it today and made it sound like bad news, like this is another hazard for the little guy. But apparently the SEC has put into effect rules that generally prevent brokers from providing public price quotations on securities issued by companies. I know it's a lot of words that don't give current financial information. Now, who wants to invest in a company that doesn't give current financial information anyway?
No, you wouldn't want to. But here's the thing. We talk a lot about small company stocks and them being a proven place in which you would have in the past made more money than just investing in the blue chip stocks. But it's over a long period of time. And we're not talking about penny stocks. The penny stock market is a totally different place where where the majority aren't even legitimate. They're not. They're not even companies that produce anything. In many, many, many cases, they're just shells. They're games that are played with other people's money, and they're not going to make you money. They're pure gambling. They need to be avoided. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi there. I'm Don. That's Tom. We talk real money with you every Saturday on Como News Radio and on the podcast, because this will become a podcast next week. Just a real quick semi-definition of penny stocks versus microcap or small cap stocks. Small cap stocks are smaller companies, but they're still pretty large. And these are not absolute definitions, but a small cap stock is usually has a valuation of below about $1 billion.
Yeah, I was going to say right around $1 billion.
Right around $1 billion.
The number of shares outstanding times the share price, so it's not a subjective thing.
Now, microcaps may not. It's not as much market capitalization really as what they're worth, and they have to. You still have to have some assets. The average for microcap stocks is about $6 million, according to the SEC. Penny stocks often have no assets whatsoever. They have no valuation. That's why they're saying there needs to be public information, financial information on these companies, because with a penny stock, you can literally buy nothing. It's almost like buying Bitcoin. You just buy hot air. There's
total
nothing there.
Speculation, and you need to be prepared to lose all of your money should you put it into one of those equities.
855-935-TALK. That is our phone number for your questions. And let's get started with Steve. Steve, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Thank you. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up?
Hey, just curious if you guys have heard of a company called Parabola.
Parabola.
It's just Parabola. You put in, as little as much as you can, and it builds every month and pays percentages of your investment every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They close their market at 5 o'clock, and then literally I look at my phone, saying there's $33. So I'm up to $33 on a trading day, which there's 17 trading days. The rest goes, I guess, to the house. And you do 17 times the 33, I've been making $561 a month.
Huh?
And
Hold on a minute.
I just let it roll and compound.
The company, it's not Parabola.com, because that looks like it's a totally different company. Parabola, like Parabola, right?
Parabola, I think so, yeah.
Okay, now let's.
That's something you're going to want to know, by the way, since they have your money.
Let me just step back a little bit. So you put how much money in?
I put in 5 to begin with, and it's almost at 6.
Wait, 5 what? $5? $5,000.
$5,000.
And it's up almost to 6, and you put the 5,000 in when?
Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
And it's up to 6. in a month?
In less than a month.
And they somehow guarantee they're going to make these payments, they say?
Yeah, they've been coming in.
Well, yeah. Wait, let me give you an example of. Wait, hold on. Let me give you a really great example. For years and years and years, people who put money in with Bernie Madoff got big, huge checks every month from Bernie Madoff. It only stopped working once there were more investors than there was new money coming in to pay the investors. How do you know this is legitimate? I've never heard of this.
I can't find them online either, by the way.
I can't find them online anywhere.
Okay, a couple of friends are invested in it. One guy's been in for about 6 months.
Do you have a website for them?
I don't. I just have Parabola in my phone, and we look up the exchange.
Well, how do you give them money, or how do you check is there an online site where you can go and check your account?
Yes, it is, and we
what's that website?
also have, yeah. I got it. My friend has it. He usually helps me get into it. I haven't punched into my phone and kept it yet. I'm kind of new at this.
Okay, let me just tell you, you have my curiosity massively piqued, because I hear, this is what I hear. I can't say this is a fact, but this is what I hear from my many, many years of talking to people about money. I hear scam. It screams scam at me. It's shouting. I mean, it's hitting my head with a big scam hammer.
Both in terms of trying to learn more about it online. That's one.
Yeah.
Number two, where's the money held?
Yeah.
Can't find that. Number three, any return which is abnormally high this way, you have to say, how are they making this money? Where is this coming from? What's going on to produce these returns and
20%, 20% a month?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty hefty return at a time when others are much lower.
I'm thinking Ponzi scheme. I'm really thinking
pyramid
Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi scheme. Yeah.
They're investing 30% in Bitcoin, and the rest of the 70% is in real estate.
Yeah, no, this is a scam. This is a scam. Steve, there's no real estate transaction in the world that generates 20% per month. They just don't exist.
That's why I called it.
If a real estate deal, the best any real estate will do over a long period of time is somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10% per year. That's a realistic number, which is less than 1% per month. Anything north of 1% per month, I always believe, is on the brink of scam territory. Anything more than 10% per month is 100% scam territory. 100%.
Well, or
100%.
non-sustainable.
But that means it'll eventually be a scam. It'll eventually turn out to be a scam.
This
is not a deal. If you got any information on it, I would absolutely love it if you would send it to us at talkingrealmoney.com. It would really help us and a lot of other people figure this thing out. And I will do incredible amounts of research if you will send to Talking Real Money at talkingrealmoney.com any information you have, any links, any phone numbers, anything. I will go out and do the research because I want to know more about this. But my initial impression, my first instinct is absolutely, ain't no doubt in my mind right now. If anybody called me and said, should I get into this deal? I would say, are you crazy? Do you want to lose all your money? You may be lucky. You may be lucky, Steve.
I'm finding something at parabola.com.na, which says Parabola Investments, but I don't see any way to invest with them, which is probably good. But it does say construction, energy, and mining. Again, three fairly speculative areas.
What's the website you went to?
Parabola.com.na.
Oh, .na. They have a very funky address. That is
you got to wonder why that is.
Yeah, look at that. Parabola Investments. Driven. Oh, Namibia. Namibia?
That's a place I'd keep my money.
Yeah, that's wow. I don't think so. 855 I'm thriving the Namibian economy.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com. Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
There was a guy I knew once that did promote making 20% a month. Do you remember him?
Bernie Madoff. It was like 18% a month, wasn't it?
No. Bernie was a pedestrian.
Oh, that's right. I think it was like 18% a year. Yeah.
Yeah. You know who it was?
No.
Local guy.
Who?
Wade Cook.
Oh, Wade Crook. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he used to promote the 20% a month trading options, et cetera, et cetera.
Why do I have this particular speech impediment when it comes to Wade? I always end up. An R comes out in there. I don't know. Wade Crook. I can't say it. I can't say Crook. I can say Cook if somebody's making something, but then I say Wade Crook. I just can't. I'm sorry, Wade. It's a speech impediment.
You could go see someone. Maybe they can help you with that. I don't know.
I have a little brain deformity or something. Yeah. 8-5. I'm telling you, this parabola thing is trouble. It really is. There's just no way. It sounds so smarmy. I want more. I want more information. Please, if anybody knows more, please tell me. This is the kind of thing that I just love talking about because I am going to research the heck out of it if I can find anything.
So you're thinking the parabola curve will go the other way, not
exactly.
normally go that way.
And the only parabola I can find is sort of like a mining and construction company based in Namibia. But I just,
don't we send all our money to Namibia?
You can't even say. I can't you have a speech impediment when it comes to Namibia. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. We're not going to Namibia. We're going to Marlene. Marlene, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Bring us back to earth here.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Thanks.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to get a second opinion. We've listened to you forever on Como in the Seattle area and finally decided to take you up on your offer to get a financial advisor opinion. And glad to know that he kind of confirmed what our first advisor had already told us, so that made us feel good about our current advisor. But my question to you today is something that came up after we spoke with him was I'm just questioning whether I'm a teacher and I'm 59, but my husband is 62 and will retire from his company next spring. And I would like to stop teaching this year, but potentially next year, only because the difference would be $200 a month in retirement once I do pull my retirement at 65. So I'm trying to weigh the life of the pension difference that $200 a month would make. Is it worth teaching another year with the stress of teaching to get that $200 a month, or do I just let that go and call it good at the end of this school year?
How old are you, Marlene?
She's 59.
59. I didn't hear that. Okay, yeah. 59.
59.
Man, you know when you're pushing 60, those years go really fast. Even teaching, they go fast. Yeah. What do you think,
let me ask
Tom?
you a question.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. How tight is I know, because it sounds like you've done some good planning. You got a second opinion on your kind of overall plan. How tight is it when it comes to retirement income?
I don't feel like I'm a good judge of that because never having been retired, it's just so hard for me to figure out how much we're going to need or how much we're going to spend per month. You know, the financial advisors want you to kind of figure out your budget for retirement. Well, I don't know because I've never been retired and I'm having a hard time figuring out.
Okay, here, let's try this. Try this, Marlene. Based on your assets and the current pension and your Social Security, I'm sure your advisor gave you a rough number as to, given the current situation, what you could expect to generate as income in retirement. Have they given you that kind of what's that approximate number?
Sure, I think they said per month a budget of like $8,000.
That sounds like a reasonable number. So about $100,000 a year. Let's say nothing changed. Nothing.
Here's where I'm going to argue with Dawn. What do you spend? I mean, what are your two incomes you don't have to, we don't have time to do this right now, but your two incomes today minus taxes, minus what your savings. That's how I'd take that number and say, will the 8,000 supplant that for the next
if it'll supplant
years?
that, then you're at 100% right. What I was going to say is, could you manage to live on that today? Because you can step back in lifestyle a little bit in retirement, and you don't have to push it. Otherwise, I might push it.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Want a free copy of my book, Financial Physics? Well, go download it right now at vestory.com, vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
And one of the big issues and the biggest problems we face as we invest and age is figuring out that number. What is that income number in retirement going to be? And I'm facing it in the next few years. Tom's facing it. We're looking at the number. And my number, that's one of the reasons why I was going to say to Marlene, look at, will it support you today? Can you live on it? Could you live on it today? Because while I make very good money, I make great money, I will not have the kind of money I have right now in retirement. I will not even be close. I won't even be close. But then I figure I'm also not going to be saving. I'm not going to be putting it away. I put a lot away. So you take that saving component out.
And taxes should be less, depending on where you draw the money from.
And plus, I'm just going to be, I just figure my life's going to be a little bit cheaper personally when I get into retirement. So,
which I think is a reasonable thing.
I'll make that happen if need be.
Correct. You can make adjustments there. And I agree with that, but here's the only other part that I see pretty regularly, because you come and talk to us, and it's still, other than seeing Dawn, my favorite thing every week. Some people they get to the end and they're tired. They just don't want to, they work for a large manufacturing concern. Sometimes they go, I've been there for 25. I don't want to go there anymore. I just don't want to do it. And if the tank is truly empty and your plan looks okay, I tell them to pull the trigger, because it's your life. And the other part is, you know this, because we talk about it.
We do talk about it.
You get in your 60s. Yeah. There are fewer days ahead than there are behind. So, I mean, you got to live your life.
Fewer ahead than behind, huh?
Unless they figure out that freezing thing or something. But yeah, so I tell them, then go live your life. And $200 a month, just $2,400 a year, $2,000 a year, doesn't sound like that much. So I would tell her, pull the trigger, get it going. I know you'd say get back to work. You're a lot tougher on people than I am.
No, I wouldn't say necessarily get back to work, but can you tough it out? Because not only is it the extra $200.
Sound like my dad there. Tough it out,
Not only is it the extra $200, but it's the extra
scratch.
however many thousands you're making and putting other money away that goes to your retirement. It's far more than $200. It's a bigger number. 855-93. Speaking of big numbers, here's a big one. 855-935-8255. That's like millions of in numbers. 855-935-8255. Give us a call.
If I had that in Parabola, I'd be rich.
Yeah. And if you had that in won, you wouldn't be so rich.
No.
I'm watching Squid Game now, and they get like, the winners get like 36 billion won. That's not as much as you'd think.
Sounds good, but not that much.
Did you know how much a won is worth?
Can you say that
a won
more
is worth?
quickly?
Yeah.
One's worth? Okay.
How much is one?
One.
Just one.
I have no idea.
One is
one gone too soon.
One is 1/1000th of a dollar.
One. That's a pretty small number.
Yeah. I mean, in the show you go, at Fish will be 13,000 won. I'm going, 13,000 won?
Hate to see my credit card bill.
My God. But then you realize everybody's carrying around $100,000 won bills in their wallet.
100,000 won bill. Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
It's 100. No. Okay. 855-935-TALK. Call us with your questions, and Tom has one of those, I believe. Hi, Tom. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'm wondering if there's a way to include a Roth IRA in a trust. Here's my situation. We set up a trust for our adult daughter. She's a wonderful person, but a poor judge of people. So we've set up a trust in order to have a gatekeeper so she doesn't get taken advantage of. Now, here's my problem. I have accumulated quite a bit in my Roth since I've been systematically converting from my regular IRA to a Roth for many years, up to the maximum for the lowest tax bracket. But a trust cannot own an IRA, either a conventional or a Roth, because they are individuals.
Right.
So I'm wondering if there is a way to include the Roth assets into the trust when I pass away.
Oh, wait. Yes,
you can take the trust and put the Roth
and put it in the trust as a beneficiary.
I don't know what that means, though, because then the trust has instructions as to how to pay it out. We need to ask you, by the way, is it more than $25 million?
It's not.
No.
Okay, good, because Congress is going to apparently do something really bad to Roths that are bigger than $25 million next year. Don, we'll take this topic.
Yeah, because we have to take a break. But yes, you can name your trust as a beneficiary for a Roth, but a Roth cannot be owned by a trust. We'll talk more about it, though, right after the break. We got to take this right now. 855-935-TALK is our number. That's 855-935-8255.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Once again, our phone number is 855-935-TALK. We love talking with you about your money issues, like the one we're talking about with Tom, who is talking about leaving his Roth IRA to a trust, which is doable. You have to do the right kind of trust, Tom. It has to be what is called a conduit trust, and it has to have specific details about the distributions and rules for the beneficiaries, because the beneficiaries must take the required minimum distribution over the 10 years, or the IRS can impose a rule where it's taxable over a shorter period of time.
Well, there's no taxes involved.
Not taxable,
IRA, of course.
Penalized over. Yeah, you got to take it out over 5 years, and there can be penalties.
Okay,
that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. So we have to write that into the trust document itself.
Correct. Your lawyer is going to know that. Whoever's writing the trust for you should be familiar with that language, of course.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty simple.
All right. Well, good luck to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. Once again, the number, 855-935-8255. By the way, you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and leave your questions for us to answer on future podcasts, which is our way of getting you, forcing you to listen to the podcast too, because we do.
What do you think?
We do a lot of podcasts.
What do you think of that in a general sense?
Of forcing people to listen to podcasts? I'm good with that.
No, not that part. Thank you for listening to the pod. No, the idea that you're trying to enforce, and no, Tom, this is not just about you, because I see it every day. The idea that somehow you're going to place rules on your money that you're leaving to others, and you're going to make them live it. In other words,
he's trying to make her be responsible.
I know. I just
he doesn't want her to.
I don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work. That's my take. People have a way to find their way. If truly someone's going to take out $500,000 or $1 million and go to whatever and spend it all, Namibia. Did I say it right?
Right.
then she'll figure out a way to do it. I mean, this is part of family.
Then she's going to end up having to play Squid Game. If she spends it all,
8 trillion won, and go crazy.
Or the other alternative's not good. Not good.
Yeah.
It's a strange show, folks. Strange show.
It really is.
Really strange show.
Let's see if we can fix it.
If you don't like, if you're really opposed to violence, please do not watch it. Okay? It is.
Oh, you're talking Squid Game now?
It is hyper violent.
Oh, okay. No, I'm going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones Red Wedding violent.
That was that was awful.
No, okay, it's not that violent. It's not that violent. No, okay. It's below that.
I think I had to avert my eyes because that was just really awful.
And for you, a guy who watches World War I movies like they were candy.
World War II, if you don't mind.
World War II, I'm sorry, wrong war. Right. There's not many World War I movies. There really aren't.
You got a couple Sergeant Yorks in there. There's some other stuff over there,
Here we are talking about old people stuff again for our reviewer.
We're going to get another review.
Wait, before I go to the call, the reviewer updated his review.
Yeah, so we had a review 10 days ago where they said, great podcast, but
I love the
You
buzz.
have to survive the bad jokes, the out-of-date references, and
Yeah.
I think there was a third thing or something.
Yeah. Thick as
anyway.
molasses sarcasm.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. We plead guilty to. Well, I'll plead guilty to all of those.
Yeah.
And then
hold
he
on.
very kindly, she very kindly wrote back after that and
I'm
said,
pulling it back up. Update. Oh, I got it. Apple.
okay, I can give it to you without the exact quotes.
No, I want the exact quote.
All right.
It's much more fun that way. I just have to go into another service to get the whole thing. Because in the Apple Podcast app, it just shortens it a little bit. Talking real money.
Done.
Oh, I feel like I'm going to lose Jeopardy
Okay,
now.
I'm going to start singing Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, no. Tom went to watch Jesus Christ Superstar last night. And
will be...
it helps if you spell talking real money anything other than
T-A-L-K.
Tackling real money. Tackling real money does not
whole
exist
different website.
as a show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Full review. Between the... Where'd it go?
And Gail, we're coming to you, I promise.
Either way. I never skipped an episode. Paul Mayer went more visits. All right, never mind. I can't find it.
It was the last one, I think.
I found it, but I'll give it to you later. So I'll save it.
Right.
I'll save it. We're going to go, while I find it, we're going to go talk to Gail. Gail, welcome to Talking Real Money.
You should get a medal or something. How are you?
Shh.
Thank you. Just a short question. I am required to take my minimum distribution because I'm 75, and I have funds with Vanguard and Morgan Stanley and IRAs, which I'll have to take out. Basically, we're told we have to do that. Is it better to withdraw the funds from the stocks that are making less or making more? So basically, do you sell
your winners or sell your losers?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think?
Wow, that's the $64,000 question, because we don't know Monday. All that may turn around, and the ones that have been bad will be good, and et cetera, et cetera.
Or in one, that's the 64 million won question.
Yeah, I would simply be trying to sell out the bigger positions, because I'm not a fan of individual stocks. You're taking a lot of risk in those individual companies. I would rather see you downsize your exposure to each one of those first. Mm-hmm. Take that money out for your required minimum distributions, rather than what's selling the things that have gone up or not the ones that have gone down.
Because the only reason we talk about selling winners and buying losers is in the process of rebalancing. So you tend to want to sell those asset classes that have gone way up and then reinvest that money back into those asset classes that have done less well. But when we're talking about individual stocks, we're no longer talking about managing a portfolio anymore. We're talking about managing a speculative venture. And we want you to eventually get out of all of those stocks. So Tom's advice is actually really good. Get out of those things to which you have the greatest individual exposure, because you have the greatest risk in that exposure. So that's what we would do, Gail. Thanks for the call.
And we'll give you the website for Namibia.
Never mind. You can't say it. Margaret, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi.
Hi. Turn your radio down, Margaret.
I wanted to know, my husband and I bought a $20,000 annuity from a well-known company here. And when he passed away, it all stopped. Should it have stopped?
Well, I'd have to look at what kind of an annuity it was. But I mean, yeah, it could have been his annuity, and then you would have been a beneficiary. Yep. And if it was a single life annuity and an immediate annuity, then it would stop. I don't know what kind of an annuity. If it's a variable annuity, that would still be yours, and you would just get a payout on his death. But it really depends on the annuity. But yes, an immediate annuity would stop providing income, which is why it's so important to have one that's joint life.
And I would call the company that issued that annuity. I would have the declaration page with me when I made that call, Margaret, and I would say, explain why I'm no longer getting the income or a payout from this annuity. So try to get an explanation from the issuer of that annuity.
And I found the review. You can learn a great deal about investing from this podcast if you can withstand the rapid-fire bad jokes, severely outdated references, thick as molasses, sarcasm, and regular tech issues, which, by the way, have been solved. Thank you, Comcast Business. Update. Hearing you read my review on the show was comedy gold.
Aww.
I'm so glad you both took my review in the intended tongue-in-cheek tone. Right after you transitioned into talking about some scam back in the day of selling payphones. Payphones? You guys are killing me. Keep up the great work, Tom and Don, in that order. Wait, Tom and Don in that order?
Thank you.
Don't you
I
think
really appreciate it.
Did you get us confused? You got us confused. You did. You got us confused.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Set your course for a great future with a free copy of our 60-page Better Retirement Guidebook at vestory.com, vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
You're all so lucky you just get Tom during the program and not during the breaks. Who is this unfortunate? He saw Jesus Christ Superstar last night, so he just keeps singing the Caiaphas song. You just get the talk show host guy. You're lucky. If you want more of Tom or our other advisors and you need some help with bigger issues, people actually get help. They do. They actually get help. And they don't get sold stuff, as our first caller said. You don't get sold stuff. We sometimes even validate your current advisor if you've got a good one. If you want a second opinion, you need some help that extends beyond the time we have in the show, go to vestory.com, vestory.com. Set up an appointment with one of our fee-only 100% fiduciary advisors. It's free. It's easy. No sales pitch. vestory.com. Boom.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.